do people really know the difference between, like, the cycle of, if you're going to get divorced, marriage, separation, and then divorce? A lot of people, like myself back in the day, because my parents, they separated, and then my dad was having children with other people and stuff like that. They were separated. They weren't divorced at all. They died being still married together, so even though they went into different relationships, well, my father did. And then, so what I'm saying to you is that, and then when I, separated from my husband, I took that as it's over. I can go into another relationship, and he went into another relationship. The thing is that, okay, so what I'm getting at is that I would like you to understand that you get married, you say for better or for worse, sickness and for poorer, all those things you say. And then the thing is, just remember that marriages go through problems. Marriages go up and down, they go through seasons. And even when I got divorced, I went like 6 years later to the courthouse to actually get, yes, you can be divorced type thing. And he was rousing on everybody that they were asking for divorces within a few months of separating. And he was denying them, going, no, you have to, it has to be a year. And he was even like, and then there's one guy jumped up and goes, I've been trying to hand the papers into my wife, my wife. He goes, ex-wife, and the judge goes, no, wife. You're trying to hand your divorce papers into your wife, but you can't. And he goes, yeah, and I can't find her. She won't open the door. He said, well, you're going to have to try harder. And he goes, well, I've tried so hard, blah, blah, blah. She won't answer the door. I can't get these papers served on her. He said, oh, well, it's funny. You entered into a marriage. You stayed in that marriage. You committed to that. Well, you're going to have to commit to getting divorced too. And I was sitting there listening to all these people getting divorced, and I was sitting there going, oh my goodness, like I'm just going to get yelled at, and I was getting nervous. When mine came up, because we had been separated for 6 or something years, he went, okay, thank you very much, Miss Cranborg, blah, bang, bang, see you later. It'd been enough time. But what I'm trying to get at is that when he did that, he made you realise how important marriage was. Marriage is important. Marriage is so important. So basically what I'm asking you to do is that when you separate, don't go off with other people. Give yourself time. You might, to fix your marriage or figure out that the marriage was, if it's abusive or, mentally abusive, separate. I get that. But the thing is that when, I know somebody that lately has divorced after 20-something years, and they go, we just don't love each other anymore. And it's just like, it's sort of over. It's like it's run its course. The truth is, a marriage isn't meant to run its course. A marriage is meant to be till death do you part. But the thing is, what the world is selling. Like the old days, people didn't get divorced, and no, it wasn't because all the women were getting beaten up. Like this world tries to make out that, the old people got married in a day, and they ended up with a husband that beat them and was drunk all the time. Man, that's a couple of percent of people. The rest of them, you still see them. They're really old now, but they open the doors for their wives. Still, they try to carry the groceries for their wife. They open the things that they do. Those old people knew what marriage was, till death do you part, and like sickness and in health. And these days people are getting 20 years into marriage, and then they're turning around and going, oh, we just don't feel the same. But that's the thing. Also, I want to mention to you, the grass is not greener. When you first got with your wife or your husband, the feeling of like, oh my gosh, he's the one. And the thing is that after 20-something years of being with each other, people go, oh, I don't feel anything. We're divorcing, we're separating. And the thing is that I really want to say to you is that there are seasons, and the thing is, and the love feels like it's gone. Work on it. Because I tell you, if you go with someone else, you're going to get the love spiking. Oh, wow, she or he's the one. And you know what? You're going to have to do all the same things again. You're going to, you're going to get used to each other. Then you're going to go be sitting on the couch after a while. And then you're going to settle down. And you're going to be like, doing the norm. And then you're going to go, wow, I was doing the norm with my other wife or my husband. Now we're doing the norm. So, and now, but now what you got now is that, your grandkids come along and you're not with your wife or your husband, and you don't get to stand at that door and go, come here, my darling little kids, to your grandkids with a husband, with Nan and Pop. You don't get that now because you're divorced, because you missed the second wave. What you've done is divorced it when you're like 45 or 50 or 60 or 55, whatever it is, but you don't get to be Nanny and Poppy, and that's a really sad thing that you don't see coming, that you're going to miss. Yes, you might find a good husband or a good wife in the future that will do Nanny and Poppy with you, but they're not Nanny and Poppy like they're not Nanny and Poppy like your ex-husband was, because he was the father of your children. There is the exception, but the thing is, as I said, but getting back to what I didn't do. See, I didn't know. I thought, because my parents, when they separated, they went off to other relationships. I didn't know that what separation is for you're having problems in your marriage and you can't work them out. So if you separate, you're supposed to go separate and work on yourself, work on why things are happening. Maybe go to couples counselling, even though you're separated in different houses or whatever it is. You might be still living together, but the point is, you separate. If you're going to separate, you have to. I don't think anybody should separate, unless, as I said, abuse. But what I'm saying to you is that don't take that like we're separating, now off I go, get another boyfriend and live out your dream, like as if you're as if finally I'm free. And then the worst thing that can happen after you do that, after you separate, is because you can fall into relationships that make it boom, 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 boom. Oh my gosh, I feel so much with that person. And you think they're the one because you're feeling again. You feel like as if you're feeling like a teenager again. So getting back to this, if you're going to separate, sort yourself out, have a year where you find that you work on your marriage, even if it is separate that you're working on, and you work on, do I want to get divorced? Why am I getting divorced? What do I feel? How can we go to counselling? Can we start dating again? I'll have a little bit of separation and then say to yourself, well, let's try dating again before we separate. If the love is gone, you can get that back because you were in love with them. It's just that seasons come and go sometimes in relationships, and especially in marriages, but you can get that love back, especially if you have respect for each other. But what I'm saying is that, if you're thinking about separating, separate, yes, do the work. Do not go out with anybody or anybody at all in that year, because you need, I say 2 years, but in that year, because you can't get a divorce anyway until 1 year, at least normally, unless special circumstances. But the thing is that what I'm trying to say to you is that use that year to work on yourself, and then get your divorce before you even think of sleeping with somebody or dating someone. Be the adult. Like, I was just thinking, be the adult that you think you are. Slow everything down. Don't rush off like a bull at a gate to feel, because drama comes from that. Do the right thing. If your marriage is in trouble and you need to separate. But as I said, I say counselling first, dating again, try to date again. But separate, do the work for a year or two, and then do not, as I said, do not date anybody or sleep with anybody or text, or do anything, because while you're separated, because that's not divorce. Don't get the two mixed up like I did. I thought separation was divorce. It's not. Divorce is divorce. If you don't want to be with your husband or your wife, get divorced if that's what you're going to do. If that's what you're going to do, I say do everything possible before you get divorced. And one of the biggest things could be start dating again, dating your husband or your wife. It actually fixes things. Sleep in the same bed. You don't have to have sex with the person. You just have to get near them so you can smell them again. I know it's weird, but it's true. Because sometimes when we're in that separation point, we're like, we seethe over them. We don't even want to be near them. But it's fixable. It is fixable, I'm telling you. So please don't sleep with people. Please don't go dating. Give the respect of the marriage that that you had, and to yourself. And I'm a Christian, and I, as I said to you, didn't understand it even back then. Even as a Christian, when I thought I knew what I was talking about then, I didn't. But now I know Jesus. Marriage is important. It's important to Him. So don't go cheating, because you know what? If you're sleeping with people while you're separated, it's cheating, because you're not divorced.